He waited for years, waited for change, waited for an apology that never came. But the truth hit him. No one is coming. So he became the one they should have feared. This isn't survival anymore. This is payback. This is war. He didn't vanish. He was sharpening in the dark. Every scar, a reminder. Every breath, a warning.
I am the lone warrior. I've walked a path most would never dare to tread. I stood in the fire and let it burn me, scar me, shape me. No one held my hand. No one shielded me from the storms. There were no lifelines, no safe harbors. It was just me, alone, facing an unrelenting world that seemed determined to see me break. And yet, here I stand. I did not have a support system, a circle of friends, or a voice of reassurance to guide me. I was the one who had to dig deep and find my strength when there was none to be found. I was the one who stood firm when the winds of despair howled through my life. I was the one who fought the battles no one else could fight for me. I didn't have a cheering crowd or a helping hand to pull me up when I fell. No, I picked myself up every time. I patched my own wounds, wiped my own tears, and marched forward. I was the lone warrior. It's a heavy burden to bear, the weight of standing alone against the odds. You feel it in your soul, that crushing isolation. There were nights I stared into the darkness, wondering if I'd ever see the light again. The silence was deafening, the emptiness suffocating. But I learned something in those lonely hours. I learned that silence doesn't break you. It reveals you. It shows you who you really are when no one else is around. It strips you of the illusions, the masks, and the excuses. And what I saw was a fighter. I didn't always want to be this way. There were moments when I longed for someone, anyone, to share the burden, to walk beside me, to tell me it would be okay. But no one came. And so I became what I needed. I became the one who could endure the pain, the one who could stand in the storm and refuse to fall. I became the shield, the sword, and the armor. I became the lone warrior. Do not mistake this for a story of triumph without sacrifice. The path I've walked is not one of glory, but of hardship. It is a road paved with loss, pain, and countless sacrifices. I have given up more than I can ever put into words. I have let go of people I cared for, dreams I once cherished, and parts of myself I will never get back. This is the price of survival. This is the cost of strength. But I paid it. I paid it because I had no choice. Life doesn't wait for you to be ready. It doesn't pause when you're on your knees, gasping for breath. It keeps coming, relentless and unforgiving. And so, I became relentless too. I taught myself not to flinch, not to waver, not to crumble under the weight of it all. I taught myself to keep moving forward, even when every step felt like a battle. I became ruthless when I had to, cold when I needed to. I learned to cut off the parts of me that made me weak, the fear, the doubt, the longing for comfort. I let those parts wither away because they had no place in the life I was fighting to build. I forged myself into something harder, sharper, more unyielding. I became a weapon, honed by pain and tempered by resilience. But there is a price for this too. The strength I carry now is not without its scars. It has hardened me in ways I never wanted to be hardened. My heart, once open and trusting, is now guarded by walls so high even I can barely see over them. My soul, once full of warmth, has grown cold and distant. I've lost the ability to trust, to connect, to let others in. It is a lonely existence, being the lone warrior. There are moments when the solitude weighs on me, when I feel the ache of all I've lost, all I've had to leave behind. But even in those moments, I do not regret the path I've chosen. Regret is a luxury I cannot afford. I cannot sit and wonder what might have been or how things could have been different. That kind of thinking only weakens you, and weakness is something I cannot allow myself to feel. I do not look back. I cannot. Instead, I carry forward, step by step, battle by battle. I carry the weight of my choices, my sacrifices, and my scars. I carry them because they are a part of me now. They are the proof of what I have endured, of what I have survived. They are the marks of a warrior who has fought and won, even when the odds were stacked against them. And make no mistake, I have won. I have faced challenges that would have broken others. I have stood my ground when everything around me was falling apart. I have built a life out of the ruins, piece by piece, with nothing but my own 2 hands. And for that, I am proud. I am proud of the warrior I have become, even if it has cost me more than I ever imagined. Because at the end of the day, I am still here. I am the lone warrior. And if this is the price I must pay for survival, for success, then so be it. I will pay it 1,000 times over. I will bear the weight, endure the pain, and walk this lonely path, because I know that I am capable of it. I know that I am strong enough to carry it all, even when it feels unbearable. I am the lone warrior, and I am proud.
He will grind his demon down to nothing. Crush it under relentless days and sleepless nights. It will die starving in the dark. He rises. He roars. He wins.
Everyone has their nightmare. I am theirs. I don't knock. I don't whisper. I arrive like a flood in the dead of night, dragging the cold with me. I'm not the story people tell their children to scare them. I'm the part they leave out. The one that crawls out of their mouths when they dream with clenched teeth. Everyone has their nightmare. I am theirs. I wasn't born like this. I was built, broken down into jagged pieces and put back together wrong, like some cruel puzzle nobody wanted to finish. Every shot in me is a moment they tried to silence, to shame, to erase. But I remember all of it. Every laugh that cut too deep. Every betrayal wrapped in soft words. Every time I begged for help and got silence in return. They thought I'd disappear. They thought I'd shatter and stay broken. But I didn't. I melted. I became liquid rage. I became fire under my own skin. And now I walk with all that heat bottled behind my eyes. I don't chase peace. I don't crave comfort. Those things are illusions, pillows stuffed with knives. I crave clarity. I crave vengeance. Not the cartoon kind. Not the flashy kind. I want balance. I want justice measured out with trembling hands. I want them to look into my eyes and know they should have killed me when they had the chance.
He wasn't born that way. He became it. When the world tore him apart, he didn't cry. He rebuilt himself from the wreckage. That wasn't a man speaking. That was the birth of a monster.
I made the darkness mine. I did not run from it. I did not beg for the light to take me back. I stood still, let it wrap around me, let it seep into my bones, let it teach me what the weak will never understand. The ones who fear the night have never lived in it. They cry for the sun, clawing at the sky, hoping the light will come and save them. But I became something else. I let the darkness carve me into something sharper, something stronger, something untouchable. There was a time I resisted, a time I thought I could hold on to the remnants of what I used to be. I reached for hope, for mercy, for something soft to rest my head against. But it was never there. The hands that should have held me let go. The voices that should have guided me fell silent. I looked around and saw nothing but the cold, the quiet, the void. And so I learned. I adapted. I became. Pain was my teacher, and I was an eager student. Every wound, every scar, every betrayal shaped me. I took them all in, let them mold me, let them turn me into something unbreakable. The suffering that would have shattered others became the fire that reforged me. I did not crumble. I did not fall. I became something more, something beyond pain, beyond fear, beyond the fragile illusions of the weak. There is no remorse in me, no regret, no longing for the past. The past is a graveyard, and I do not dig up what is already dead. The ones who broke me will never see me beg for what was taken. They will never hear me ask for what I no longer need. I have built something greater within myself, a kingdom of shadow where no one can reach me, a throne carved from the remains of everything I lost. And I sit upon it, not as a prisoner, not as a victim, but as a ruler of my own making. The world loves to whisper about monsters. It fears what it cannot control, what it cannot break, what it cannot tame. It calls those like me heartless, merciless, cruel. But I am not a villain. I am not a hero. I am something greater, something untouchable, something beyond their words, beyond their understanding. I do not need their pity. I do not need their absolution. I do not need their false sense of morality. I have walked through the fire. I have walked through the abyss. And I emerged, not as something burned, but as something eternal. The darkness is not my curse. It is my armor, my weapon, my crown. It does not weigh me down. It does not consume me. It elevates me, strengthens me, protects me. I am not lost in it. I am not drowning. I own it. I command it. It bows to me, and I to it. I do not flinch when the night comes. I do not falter when the storm rages. I do not break when the weight of the world bears down upon me, because I have already carried heavier burdens. I have already faced worse horrors, and I did not fall. I did not shatter. I stood. I endured. I conquered. There is no return for me, no path back to what once was. That version of me is long gone, dead and buried. And in its place, something greater was born, something they will never understand, something they will never touch. They fear what they cannot break, and I am unbreakable. So let them speak, let them fear, let them wonder how I survived when they thought I would fall. Let them try to make sense of what I have become. They will never understand. They are too weak to grasp what it means to embrace the darkness, to make it yours, to turn it into something that serves you instead of something that haunts you. I do not need the light. I do not need their mercy. I do not need their forgiveness. I made the darkness mine, and I will never kneel again. But the darkness does not just shield me. It strengthens me in ways they could never fathom. I hear it whisper secrets only the strong can endure. I feel it forge me into something beyond flesh and bone, something beyond human fragility. I walk through shadows, but they are not my prison. They are my dominion. They are my kingdom. And in this kingdom, I am free. Every scar is a map of my battles. Every wound, a testament to my endurance. And I carry them with pride. for they are not symbols of my suffering. They are marks of my ascension. I do not seek vengeance, for vengeance is for those who are still shackled by their past. I do not seek approval, for approval is for those who need validation. I do not seek love, for love is a chain that binds the weak. I seek only one thing: mastery. Mastery over my mind, my fate, my existence. I have been broken and rebuilt so many times that I have lost count. But each time, I came back sharper, colder, stronger, until the breaking no longer mattered, until I became something that could not be broken. They will watch me rise over and over and wonder how. They will question how one can stand after being torn apart so many times. And I will give them no answer, for the answer is simple. I do not fall. I do not yield. I do not break.
Apologize. He should be thanked. They made him a monster. And now they finally understand what it means to meet what they created. They gave him pain. They thought it would break him. They thought it would keep him down. But pain didn't make him weaker. It made him dangerous.
I have walked through fire, not once, but again and again, until my skin no longer burns. The flames could not consume me. I did not flinch. I did not crumble. I absorbed the heat, made it mine, and turned it into something greater. Every scar, every mark left on me is a testament not to pain, but to resilience. There is no force in this world or the next that can halt my march. I do not stop. I do not yield. There was a time when I doubted, when the weight pressed so heavily on my shoulders, I thought my spine would snap. I remember the whispers that crawled into my ears, the lies they tried to make truths. They said I was too weak. They said I was too broken. They said I would fail. But they didn't understand the fire in my soul. They didn't see the steel being forged inside me. They thought they had won when I stumbled, but falling only taught me how to rise stronger. Every fall is a lesson. Every wound is a weapon. And now, I am untouchable. I don't need permission. I don't need approval. I don't need anyone to tell me I belong, because I have already carved my place in this world. I built it with my own hands, my own blood, my own sweat. Nothing was given to me. Everything was earned. I bled for it. I fought for it. And I will not let anyone or anything take it from me. I have become unstoppable, not because I was born special, not because of some blessing from the stars, but because I refused to stop. When the storms came, I didn't seek shelter. I stood in the rain, felt the lightning in my veins, and screamed back at the heavens. When the walls closed in, I didn't shrink. I shattered them. When the darkness swallowed me whole, I didn't plead for the light. I became the light. I am not a victim of this world. I am its master. I've taken the chaos and shaped it into something unbreakable. I've turned my pain into power, my struggle into strength, and my anger into focus. They tried to bury me, thinking I would rot, but they didn't realize I was a seed. Now I grow in ways they could never predict, in places they could never reach. I have no use for regret. I have no time for pity. Those are weights I've already shed. I am streamlined, honed, a blade sharp enough to cut through anything in my way. There are no excuses here, no hesitations, no second thoughts. There is only forward. There is only more. I don't stop to look back, because there's nothing back there for me. The past is ashes. and I am the wildfire moving ahead. They will try to stop me. Oh, they will try. They always try. They think their words can cut me, but words are air, and I breathe through them. They think their doubts can poison me, but I've already tasted venom, and it made me immune. They think their walls can contain me, but I don't knock. I demolish. They will throw everything they have at me, and it will not be enough. I have already seen the worst this world can offer, and I am still standing. What could possibly stop me now? Nothing. No one. Do you know what power truly is? It's not in strength alone. It's not in numbers. Power is the refusal to break. Power is the refusal to give up. Power is looking into the abyss and deciding it will not claim you. Power is standing at the edge of destruction and taking one more step forward. That is what I have. That is who I am. I don't wait for opportunities. I take them. I don't ask for doors to open. I kick them down. I don't hope for change. I am the change. There is no hesitation in me, no uncertainty, no crack in my armor. My resolve is iron, my will unyielding. There is no force that can slow me, no failure that can stop me, no enemy that can defeat me. I have walked through my own personal hell and come out the other side. The fire didn't kill me, it forged me. It burned away every weakness, every doubt, every fear. What's left is something unshakable, something eternal, something that cannot be stopped. I do not care if they doubt me. Let them. Their doubts fuel me. I do not care if they hate me. Let them. Their hate sharpens me. I do not care if they try to stand in my way. Let them. Their resistance only strengthens my resolve. Every obstacle I crush, every barrier I break, every challenge I overcome is just another reminder of who I am. I am not like them. I am not ordinary. I am not bound by the same rules, the same limits, the same fears. I am the exception, the outlier, the unstoppable force that does not know the meaning of defeat. They will try to understand me, try to figure out what drives me, but they won't succeed, because my fire is mine alone. My strength is mine alone. They will never understand, and they don't need to. All they need to know is this: I cannot be stopped. They call me monster, like it's an insult, like they didn't spend years building me one scar at a time. I won't apologize for it. I won't flinch. I won't bow. Monsters are not accidents. We are results. We are what happens when you push too hard for too long and laugh while doing it. You don't get to fear the creature you birthed from your own cruelty. You don't get to scream when it opens its eyes and stops pretending to be human. They tore me open and expected me to heal like nothing happened. Expected silence. Expected compliance. But something else grew in those wounds. Teeth, claws, cold fire in my chest where a heart used to be. I didn't ask to be this way, but I refused to apologize for surviving it. They wanted me soft, pliable, harmless, dependent. They wanted my rage tucked away, my voice dimmed, my pain hidden behind a smile that never reached my eyes. But that smile cracked, and underneath it, a snarl. You want to know what a monster is? It's not a killer. It's not a beast. It's not some mindless thing. It's me. It's someone who remembers. Every slight, every betrayal, every back turned. I cataloged every sin they committed, and every time they told me to get over it. I did get over it. I got over it by becoming something they couldn't chain anymore. This isn't rage. This is memory. This is what happens when kindness is wasted and love is used like bait. This is what happens when the last light inside goes out and you decide to become the darkness instead of running from it.
He was the storm they tried to bury, the man who rose from the grave they dug, with fire in his hands and vengeance in his heart. He didn't just come back, child. He came for everyone.
The loneliness that they thought would be my downfall became my sanctuary. I found clarity in silence, strength in solitude. The path I walked was not a punishment. It was purification. Without distractions, without false comforts, I faced my demons head on. They became familiar, allies bound by blood and darkness. These were the truths others avoided, the shadows they fled from in terror. But I embraced them, welcomed them like old friends. For in darkness lies honesty, stripped bare and raw, untainted by deception. I learned to listen to myself, to my instincts, to the whispers of my heart. Each voice that once tormented me now guided me, turning pain into power. They whispered truths others feared to hear. They told me I was never meant to follow, but to lead. My solitude sharpened senses I didn't know existed, honed perceptions too vivid for ordinary souls. I saw through masks, shattered illusions, recognized deceit before it formed. Loneliness had given me sight. They still mock me, calling me lost, a wanderer without purpose. They couldn't be more wrong. Every step I took, every mile of that forsaken path was deliberate. I chose solitude over false connections, truth over comforting lies. I didn't stumble aimlessly. I walked with fierce determination. My purpose was carved from suffering, written in the scars across my heart, and etched deeply into the marrow of my bones. I became more than human, less fragile, unbound by fears and insecurities that held them captive. I stood outside their rules, beyond their judgments. They despised me for this freedom. They hated me for embracing what they could never understand. Absolute independence. They call me cold, cruel, monstrous. But monsters aren't born. They're created, shaped by a world that demands submission, that crushes spirit and punishes strength. Yet, I refused submission, resisted the chains, broke free of expectations. Look where you are now. Look at yourself. You've heard their whispers. Monster, they called you. Beast, savage, someone who doesn't belong among us. They point, they laugh, they judge you with eyes that wouldn't dare to meet your gaze if they truly knew your power. But have they ever stepped where you've stepped? Have they ever carried the weight you've carried? No, they haven't. They don't know the storms you've weathered, the fires you've walked through. They don't know what it took for you to stand here, even now, still breathing, still fighting. They don't know, but you do. You've heard them call you a monster. And maybe, just maybe, they're right. Because a monster isn't afraid of what people think. A monster doesn't bow down. A monster doesn't wait for permission. So prove them right. Show them what a monster can do. You were never meant to fit their mold. You were never meant to be one of them. You were never meant to follow the herd. You were made to lead, to carve your own way, even if it meant doing it alone. They fear what they can't control, and that's why they call you names. Monster, because you don't fit their mold, because you make them uncomfortable, because you don't apologize for being bigger, stronger, and hungrier than they'll ever be. Good. Let them call you a monster. Wear it like armor. Own it. Because when they call you a monster, what they're really saying is, we're scared of you. We can't stop you. You're too much for us. They will never understand your hunger. They don't understand your hunger. They don't understand what drives you, what keeps you awake at night, what pushes you forward when everyone else gives up. They don't know what it's like to look at a mountain and think, I'm going to tear it down with my bare hands. They don't know, and they never will. So stop trying to explain it to them. Stop wasting your breath convincing people who are too small-minded to see the fire inside you. That fire isn't for them. It's for you. It's what makes you dangerous. It's what makes you unstoppable. The world is afraid of monsters. Good. The world doesn't celebrate monsters. It fears them. Because monsters don't play by the rules. Monsters don't ask for permission. Monsters don't wait for someone to hand them the crown. They take it. So, let the world fear you. Let them talk. Let them point fingers. Let them call you every name in the book. None of it matters. Words don't stop monsters. Doubts don't stop monsters. Fear doesn't stop monsters. You're not here to be liked. You're not here to be accepted. You're here to conquer. Prove them right. Prove to them that you are everything they're afraid of and more. Show them what happens when you push someone too far, when you doubt someone too much, when you underestimate someone who was born to rise. Prove to them that the word monster isn't an insult, it's a warning. When they say, you're too ambitious, smile and show them how much more you can take. When they say, you're too aggressive, laugh and show them what happens when you unleash your full strength. When they say, you're too much, remind them that you weren't made to be small. When we're good, nobody remembers us. But when we're bad, nobody forgets us. So, why waste time chasing their fragile approval? Why kneel before their flimsy morality, their empty praises that crumble like ash in the wind? Let them see us for what we are, raw, untamed, unapologetic. We might as well become the darkest and most twisted souls this world has ever known. Let them hate us. Let them curse our names. Let their trembling hands scrawl stories of our wrath. We'll be the villains, the monsters, the chaos they dare not look at too long, lest they see their own reflection in us. We'll be the ones whispered about in the shadowed recesses of their safe little lives. The ones who remind them that no lock is unbreakable, no sanctuary impenetrable. We are the truth that gnaws at their sleep. That power, true power, lies not in their feeble laws or their brittle codes, but in the hands of those bold enough to seize it. They think the dark is something to fear, but we are not afraid of the dark. We are the dark. We are the storm that blots out their sun, the wildfire that razes their illusions to the ground. We are the abyss that stares back, unblinking, daring them to take one more step closer. They will not forget us. No, we will carve our names into the bones of their history, etch our legacy into the foundations of their fragile empires. We'll be the ones who rule the shadows, the architects of despair, the ones who command the darkness like an army. Every whisper, every shiver, every scream, our loyal soldiers. The world will kneel, not because they choose to, but because they have no other option. We'll shatter those who think they are gods, and raise monuments in their ashes, monuments to our fury, our vengeance, our triumph. They think they can resist us. Let them try. Let them gather their armies, their feeble heroes, their false hope. We will devour them, grind their resolve into dust beneath our heels. We are inevitable. We are the wildfire they cannot contain, the tide they cannot stem, the hunger they cannot satiate. When they look into the void, we will be what stares back. Their light is weak and fleeting, a candle in the gale. But we are eternal. We are the roaring inferno that consumes everything in its path, leaving nothing but scorched earth and trembling silence in its wake. We are the war cry that shakes the heavens, the earthquake that splits their foundations, the drumbeat of chaos they cannot drown out. And they will fear us, not just for what we do, but for what we are, because we are the unbroken. We are the ones who refuse to bow, refuse to be tamed. Their rules do not bind us. Their chains cannot hold us. We have been forged in the fires of rejection, of scorn, of pain. And now, we are sharper, stronger, and deadlier than anything they could have dreamed. We are the villains of their nightmares, the monsters they tell their children about to keep them obedient. But they admire us. Oh, they would never admit it. They'll spit and sneer and rail against us. But in the quiet moments, when no one else is listening, they envy the freedom we claim. We are everything they wish they could be. Unshackled, unafraid, unstoppable. We are not their villains. We are their reckoning. Their reckoning for centuries of hypocrisy, of lies dressed as virtues. They called us wicked, yet it was their hands that cast the first stone. They called us monsters, yet it was their greed, their cruelty, their cowardice that birthed us. So now we will show them what true monstrosity looks like. We will not fade, we will not falter, we will not kneel. And when the dust settles, when the smoke clears, we will be the last ones standing. They will curse our names, yes, but they will also remember them, not just today, not just tomorrow, but long after their crumbling statues have turned to rubble and their hollow victories have been forgotten. For we are not here to be liked, to be loved, to be forgiven. We are here to dominate, to endure, to thrive, and we will burn so brightly, so fiercely, that no one, not even time itself, will dare to extinguish us.
They betrayed you. They wanted to destroy you, to bury you in the ashes of their deceit. But they failed. I can see the weight of all you've endured, the scars that tell your story. Now it's time for you to walk away from this fight.
I am the consequence of their actions, not by chance, not by accident, but by design. They carved me from the stone of their decisions, their failures, their betrayals. Every crack in my soul, every jagged edge of my being was chiseled by their hands. They may look at me now and call me a monster, but I was their masterpiece long before I became my own. They wanted to break me, but instead, they forged something unbreakable. I stood in the fire, my flesh burned away, my soul blistered and raw. But what they didn't understand was that fire doesn't destroy the strong. It tempers us. It reforges us into something sharper, something harder, something they cannot control. They wanted ashes, but I became a blade. I am not here to ask for understanding. I do not seek pity or forgiveness. Those are luxuries for those who can afford to feel. I am beyond feeling. When you've been hollowed out so completely, when the world has stripped you down to nothing, you learn that emotions are weights that drag you under. So I let them go. I let go of love, of mercy, of hope. And in their place, I filled myself with purpose. A purpose they gave me, even if they didn't mean to. They gave me the gift of pain, and I turned it into power. Every scar on my body is a lesson learned. Every wound, a debt collected. I wear my pain like armor. It covers me, shields me, strengthens me. They thought they were breaking me, but all they did was teach me how to endure, how to survive, how to thrive in the dark places where they thought I would die. I am the shadow they cast, when they turned their backs. I am the weight of every lie they told, every promise they broke, every cruelty they thought I'd forget. I am the reckoning they never saw coming. And now I stand before them, not as a victim, not as a survivor, but as a consequence. They built me with their own hands, and now they cannot bear to look at what they've created. I walk a path no one else dares to tread. It is a lonely road, but it is mine. I've carved it with my bare hands, through stone and blood and bone. I've left pieces of myself behind with every step, but I've gained something far greater. I've gained clarity. I've gained resolve. I've gained the unshakable knowledge that I am unstoppable, not because I was born strong, but because I was made strong, because they tried to bury me, and I grew roots instead. They will never understand what it means to be me, to carry the weight of 1,000 betrayals on your shoulders and still stand tall, to be stripped of everything you once were and still rise, harder, sharper, unyielding. They will never know what it means to look in the mirror and see not a reflection, but a weapon. I am not here to be loved. I am not here to be understood. I am here to exist, to endure, to be the living embodiment of the choices they made. And yet, I am not bitter. I am not consumed by hate. Hate is a fire that burns too hot, too fast. It consumes itself before it can accomplish anything. No, I do not hate them. I thank them. I thank them for showing me the truth of the world, for ripping away the illusions I once clung to. I thank them for teaching me that the only thing you can rely on is yourself. That kindness is a luxury, not a necessity. That mercy is a weakness, not a virtue. They gave me these lessons, and I learned them well. I have no fear of the flames. I watch them rise, watch them twist and devour, watch them turn all that is weak to ash. They dance, they rage, they consume, and I stand among them untouched, unshaken, unbroken. Pain is nothing. It has already made its home in my bones. Suffering is nothing. It has already carved its name into my skin. Fire cannot burn what has already been forged in war. It cannot take what has already been given to the abyss. I was made in destruction. I was sculpted by ruin. I have seen the worst this world has to offer, and I did not turn away. I let it break me. I let it strip me bare. And then I built myself again, stronger, sharper, untouchable. Where others ran, I stood. Where others wept, I bled. Where others begged for mercy, I welcomed the storm. And so now, when the flames rise again, when they try to swallow me whole, I do not tremble, I do not fall. I walk through the fire, and I do not burn. I have no fear of the flames, because I am more than flesh, more than bone, more than the sum of my wounds. I am the force that will not bend, the will that will not break. The inferno does not frighten me, because I have walked through deeper hells than this, and I have come out on the other side. I have stood at the edge of the abyss, and I did not look away. They told me I would not survive. They told me I would not rise again. But here I am, breathing, standing, towering over the wreckage they left behind. I am not a man. I am not a beast. I am something greater, something vast, something beyond the reach of fear. I do not hesitate. I do not falter. I have burned away all that was weak, all that was soft, all that could be destroyed. The fire does not scare me, because it cannot touch what I have become. It cannot touch the steel in my spine, the storm in my heart. It cannot take what I do not surrender. It cannot claim what does not kneel. I am beyond it now. Beyond pain, beyond hesitation. There is no doubt left in me. No fear, no remorse. Only the path ahead. Only the war I was meant to fight. Only the power that flows through my veins like an unrelenting tide. Let the flames rise. Let them rage. Let them try to consume me. I will walk through them untouched, unscathed, untamed. I will carve my way through fire and ruin, through agony and war. And when I stand at the end of it all, when the embers fade and the smoke clears, I will not be the one who is reduced to ash. I do not fear the heat. I do not shrink before the inferno. Let it come. Let it rise like a great and hungry beast. Let it bare its fangs and snap at my heels. It will find no purchase. It will find no surrender. It will find only a force too vast to be consumed. I have faced darkness deeper than fire. I have met horrors greater than heat. I have stood at the breaking point and did not break. I have been tested in ways the world will never understand, and I have emerged stronger than before. What is a flame to the unyielding? What is destruction to one who was born from it? I was not made to cower. I was not built to break. The fire does not own me. The fire does not define me. I define myself. I choose what I am, and I choose to stand. Even when the flames rise higher, even when they press in close, I do not falter. Because I am not made of the things that burn. I am made of the things that endure. I am made of stone, of iron, of the unrelenting force that does not bow. I am the unbroken, the unstoppable, the undeniable. Fire is not my end. Fire is not my enemy. Fire is nothing but another storm I will walk through, untouched, undefeated. Let it come, let it rage, let it try to claim me. I will meet it head on. I will take its heat and laugh. I will step through its fury and stand unchanged. Because I am more than the flames, more than the fire, more than the destruction they promise. I am the one who does not burn. The world will watch. The world will wait for the moment I fall. They will expect to see me consumed, expect to see me broken, but they will be waiting forever. Because I do not fear the flames. I walk through them, and I do not burn. I am the monster they couldn't kill. They tried. Oh, how they tried. They shattered bones. They carved scars into flesh. They whispered venom into my ears, hoping I would break, hoping I would fall. But I didn't. I rose, again and again. Pain became my cradle, suffering my lullaby. Every wound they left on me only sharpened my edges, only made me something darker, something stronger. They thought if they drained me of love, I would become hollow. But I didn't. I became something else, something greater, something they never prepared for. I burned in the fire they set for me, but I did not turn to ash. I did not fade. The flames did not consume me. They forged me. What was meant to destroy me became my foundation. What was meant to silence me became my voice. They pushed me past the point of breaking, past the point of return. And now, I do not tremble. I do not kneel. I do not beg for mercy that was never offered to me. I walk where the weak fall. I stand where the broken crumble. I am not like them. I never was. I was born in a world that never wanted me, raised by hands that sought to bury me, taught by pain that never let me rest. And yet here I am, breathing, moving, taking, becoming. They see me now and they whisper, they fear, they wonder how I survived, how I emerged when every force, every law, every hand was against me. But they will never understand. They will never know the weight of my rage, the depth of my hunger, the cost of my existence. I have paid in blood, in silence, in nights so long and dark, they felt like eternity. I have paid, and now I collect. I do not ask for permission. I do not wait for an invitation. I take what is mine. I carve my own path through the world they tried to keep me from. And when they see me rise, when they hear my name, when they finally realize that nothing they did was enough to bury me, they will know I am not their victim. I am not their mistake. I am not their tragedy. I am the monster they couldn't kill. I was supposed to stay down. I was supposed to disappear. They wanted me erased, forgotten, cast into oblivion, like I never existed. But I refused. I refused to be nothing. I refused to let them write my ending. Every time they struck me down, I rose with the weight of their sins on my back. Every time they silenced me, I roared louder. They called me broken, but I became unbreakable. They called me weak, but I became unstoppable. They called me a mistake, but I became inevitable. The world they built was never meant for me. The rules they wrote were never meant to let me win. But I do not follow rules. I do not live by their laws. I do not bow to their order. I carve my own fate with my own hands, and no one can take that from me. They fear me because they know they cannot control me. They cannot mold me into what they want. They cannot force me into submission. I do not bend. I do not yield. I do not break. I stand above them, beyond them, untouchable by their feeble attempts to restrain me. They think they understand strength, but they don't. Strength is not comfort. Strength is not ease. Strength is not born from privilege. Strength is born in darkness. Strength is forged in suffering. Strength is surviving when everything around you is built to make you fail. I am strength. I am survival. I am everything they fear and everything they could never be. I am the nightmare they created, the storm they unleashed, the reckoning they cannot escape. They wanted me gone, but now they will never forget me. My name will burn into their history. My shadow will loom over their legacies. My existence will be their eternal reminder that they failed. I do not need their acceptance. I do not need their approval. I do not need their mercy. I am beyond them now. They tried to break me, but they only made me whole. They tried to silence me, but they only made me louder. They tried to destroy me, but they only made me invincible. I am the monster they couldn't kill, and I will haunt them forever. And still, I rise, through every attempt to bury me, through every whispered lie, through every shattered promise. I rise. They think they have seen the end of me, but I am only beginning. I have walked through the fire, through the storms, through the endless void of despair, and I have emerged untouchable. I have made the darkness my home. I have taken the pain they fed me and turned it into power. The world may try again. They may come with new weapons, with new chains, with new ways to try to end me. But I have already learned the truth. I have already seen behind the mask. They cannot take from me what I have built. They cannot destroy what they no longer understand. I have become something else, something beyond their reach, something beyond their comprehension. There is no stopping me. There is no undoing what has been done. There is no erasing me from history. I will not fade. I will not disappear. I will not be reduced to a whisper in the wind. Because losing is not in me. Defeat is not in me. The moment I was thrown into this war, the moment I was left with nothing but the will to fight, I had already won. Every battle I survive, Every moment I push forward, every time I rise from the ashes of what was meant to be my end, I win. They think victory is in crushing me, in watching me fall, in seeing the fire in my eyes extinguished. They do not understand. The fire is endless. The fire is eternal. Even in the ashes, it will rise again. Pain does not scare me. Death does not scare me. I have danced with both. I have walked the edge of destruction and emerged stronger each time. There is nothing they can take from me that I have not already lost. There's nothing they can do to me that I have not already endured. They have tried to break me before. They have failed every time, and they will fail again. They can shackle my body, but they cannot chain my will. They can take my life, but they cannot steal my victory. I am not one of them. I never was. I do not think as they do. I do not fear as they do. I do not surrender as they do. They fall when pushed. They weep when broken. They beg when they have nothing left. I do none of these things. I have stood where they would have collapsed. I have walked paths they would not have dared. I have embraced a fate they would have run from. They will look at me and wonder why I do not fall, why I do not break, why I do not surrender. The answer is simple. I am built differently. I was not made for an easy life, for soft words and gentle hands. I was made for war. I was made for fire and fury. I was made to stand when everything around me crumbles, and I will continue to stand, no matter what they do, no matter how hard they try. I will die fighting, but I will not lose. There is no surrender in me, no retreat, no moment of hesitation. I was not born to kneel. I was not created to cower. I was forged in fire, shaped by suffering, built by the very pain that was meant to break me. I have been cut open and left to bleed. But every wound was a lesson, every scar a mark of survival. I have faced shadows that sought to consume me, voices that whispered doubt into my mind, hands that reached to pull me under. But I refused. I refused to bow. I refused to break. I do not care if the odds are against me. I do not care if the world expects me to fail. I have never been one to follow expectations. I do not live by their rules, their limits, their shallow understanding of what strength truly means. Strength is not in words, not in fleeting moments of triumph, not in hollow victories handed out like favors. Strength is in the battle, in the relentless march forward, in the refusal to accept anything less than absolute dominance over my own fate. I have been alone in the abyss, staring into the void, while others turned away in fear. I have embraced the darkness and made it my ally. I have looked into the eyes of my demons and smiled, because I knew they could not break me. They could not make me kneel. The world may think it has taken everything from me, but it has only stripped away the unnecessary, burned away the weakness, carved away the doubt. What remains is pure. What remains is unshakable. What remains is unstoppable. They will come for me. They will try to tear me down. They will send their best, their strongest, their most ruthless. Let them gather. Let them try. It will make no difference. I will face them all, one by one or all at once. It does not matter. I will keep moving forward. I will keep fighting until my last breath, until my last ounce of strength is spent, until my bones crack and my body falls. I will fight. And even then, even in death, I will not lose. There is nothing left to fear, nothing left to lose. Every step I take is a defiance, every breath a challenge. They can take everything from me, strip me of all I have, and it will change nothing. I will fight anyway. I will fight with empty hands, with broken bones, with nothing but my will, if I must. And I will still not lose. Because losing is giving up. Losing is surrendering. And that is something I do not do. I will die fighting, but I will not lose. Because my fight is endless. Because my fire is unquenchable. Because I am not like them. Because I never was. Let them come. Let them bring their worst. Let them believe they can take me down. It will be their mistake, their miscalculation, their failure. They will learn, just as all the others have learned before them, that there are some who cannot be broken, some who cannot be stopped. I am one of them. I am the exception. I will stand. I will fight. And I will never lose.